Hello everyone and welcome back. I am Olivia with Olivia's Romantic Home, and in today's video I am over the moon excited to share with you guys my top 10 DIY Dollar Tree fun and easy fall decor crafts. So I love to share with you all how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a budget. I truly believe that you do not have to break the bank to have a fabulous, amazing home. Now listen, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the rest of my I Love Fall series and also my fun and fabulous purse giveaway and more giveaways to come. So listen, thank you guys for being here. Without further ado, let's go ahead and plug in those glue guns, get out your glitter and paint, and let's get to crafting. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a super adorable pumpkin banner using these Dollar Tree wooden cutouts. I'm painting 2 of them with this orange acrylic paint, and then I'm going to take 3 of them and I'm going to Mod Podge this pretty paper onto the front of them. So I'm just tracing out the paper to fit the size of the wooden cutout, and then once I have that done, I'm going to add a generous layer of Mod Podge. Be generous with your Mod Podge here because the wooden cutouts do absorb the Mod Podge quickly, so you kind of have to work a little bit quickly. Now I'm adding the little Mackenzie Childs checkerboard kind of scrapbook paper, and I did get this at Hobby Lobby. And then you're just going to add another really generous layer of Mod Podge to the front of your wooden cutout, and voila, you have a bunch of really cute little pumpkins. Now I'm going to take this Dollar Tree furniture marker pen. You find it in the automotive section at Dollar Tree or the Fix It section, and I'm just going to use it to color some little ridges in my pumpkin just to give it a little bit more detail. Now this step is optional, but that little bit of detail kind of is going to make your item look a little bit more high end. I also colored the pumpkin stem. I also had some paints out, so I decided to add a little bit more detail with some white paint. So I'm just using some of the Dollar Tree acrylic white paint, and I'm adding some stripes down the kind of the front of my pumpkins just to give it a little bit of dimension. It gives it that boutique finish. Once I have that step finished, I'm going to take some of the Dollar Tree floral wire. I chose the gold, and I'm just going to wire my pumpkins together. So I'm leaving several inches between each one, and I'm wrapping the piece of wire around the top, and that's going to help it hang nicely. I hate when I make a garland and the things like flop around, so the wire is actually the perfect way to make them hang just where they hang perfectly. I hope that makes sense. And there's already little holes in the top of this. Now you could always use some jute twine as well, or any pretty ribbon would work. Here it is popped into my beautiful fall display, and oh my goodness, this is probably one of my favorite videos I have ever made for you guys, so stay tuned because we are going to do some amazing crafts, and I'm going to be sharing with you guys some really fun and fabulous fall decor. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create a splatter screen pumpkin. Now my Dollar Tree only had 2 splatter screens, so I picked up this wire mesh round circular. I think it's a topper to keep flies out maybe. Anyway, I had to unscrew the little thing from the side, and now I'm just going to take each one of the handles from the splatter screen and bend them backward. Now the way I found to do this was to take some wire and just wire these first 2 pieces together while they were standing up, because you want your pumpkin to stand up. Now if you don't want your pumpkin to stand up, you can always just remove the little splatter screen handles and you could hang this. Now I'm adding that last little screen. You can see there's still that hole in it, but don't worry, we're going to cover that hole. I'm using Dollar Tree floral wire, and I'm just wiring the center part together. Now comes the fun part. I decided to add deco mesh to this. You could always just paint your splatter screen pumpkin with some orange paint. That would totally work too. I was fresh out of orange paint and I had this deco mesh I needed to use up, so I'm taking and cutting several pipe cleaners in half, and then I'm going to pipe cleaner the top part of the splatter screen and then the bottom part as well, fairly close to the edge, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the deco mesh, and I ended up using 4 rolls of Dollar Tree deco mesh, and you're going to take the deco mesh and just center it in between each one of your pipe cleaners and tie it together 2 times. That's going to be on there really nice, and then pull it a little bit tight, not super tight, but just so it lays flush against your splatter screen, and then you can flip it over and run it down the front. So as you can see, I'm tying everything in the back. That way the front of our pumpkin is clean from any of our pipe cleaners. So you're just going to wrap it around and then again center it on top of that pipe cleaner and just crisscross the pipe cleaner twice, and it is on there. This is so easy, you guys. Oh my goodness, you're gonna have so much fun with this one. So I'm winding the deco mesh around this twice. That way it covers the little splatter screen. And then I'm moving about an inch away from my last bit of ties, and I'm beginning to tie again. So you can just center your ties about an inch apart as you go down the splatter screen. This does not have to be perfect, you guys. Just take a deep breath and have fun with this one, and then you'll just take that deco mesh and continue to wind it around. And if you didn't really have pipe cleaners, you could also use some floral wire. That would work super great, and you don't necessarily even have to go 1 inch apart. I was really trying to be very careful with my mesh because I only had 4 rolls of the pumpkin color and I did not want to run out. So as you can see, I'm gathering it again and I'm just centering the mesh on top of the pipe cleaner. You twist the pipe cleaner twice and voila, you can keep going with this. Now the Dollar Tree deco mesh, for some reason, it doesn't come all the way on one roll, so you could see that the end of the roll kind of started right there, or the end of the piece. But here's how it should look. It's just tied on the front, and then you're going to see your work on the back. Again, here's my ties about an inch apart, and then I'm beginning to add more ties to kind of space about another inch apart. So you're going to continue to do this method where you tie the deco mesh to the back of your splatter screen and then just wind it around the front. So I'm tying it at the bottom and I'm tying it at the top. And when I say tie, I'm just taking those pipe cleaners and crisscrossing them over, just like you would tie up a loaf of bread, where you just kind of twist it together. So there's no fancy secret to this. Again, see, you can just see that I'm pulling the mesh down and then winding it back up and tying it at the base and tying it at the top. And those ties will help your deco mesh not move to side, especially if you're going to be putting this outside, or if you're going to make this into a hanging wreath, because at the end of this, you guys are going to be so wowed. This is probably one of my favorite projects I have ever done. I've been wanting to do one of those pumpkin wreaths, but our Dollar Tree has not got in any of the pumpkin wire wreath forms, and this whole time I've been hoping to find one. I keep thinking, what if I used the splatter screens to create kind of a setting pumpkin wreath? So that's how this is going to turn out. And again, you guys can modify this by taking the handles off and just hanging it from your door. But again, I'm just continuing to loop the mesh over on itself. The other thing that you might want to keep an eye out for, I just always grab rolls of mesh, but Dollar Tree has several different colors of orange. So luckily I had 3 of the same kind and only one was different. So here's how my pumpkin looks after I have all my mesh tied on. And then I didn't cut my ties. I left them on because I knew I wanted to drape some Dollar Tree ribbon down the front. This is just the polka dot ribbon, and I cut it about half the length of my pumpkin. You can always make it longer or shorter, but I am going to put a big bow at the top. Now I'm cutting a triangle upwards at the end of my ribbon. That's just a little extra special step that's going to give it that boutique finish. So you just cut that little triangle up, and then I'm taking some some deco mesh roping. This step is totally optional and you're really not even going to see that much of it, but it does give a little bit of dimension. And if you always wondered what to do with this, here's a fun little way to use it, is just to add it into some of your wreaths or your florals. Again, just to give it a little bit of dimension, and it does look kind of funny right here like this, but we're going to make a big, beautiful bow. So I have a big bow video for you. You can also use your Easy Bow Maker if you have one, or if you know how to hand tie a bow. The Easy Bow Maker is a lifesaver for my fingers though. So I just popped a pipe cleaner in, and then I'm using the Dollar Tree plaid ribbon, and I'm going to make my bow 6 inches across from the center. So you just pop your ribbon in, you measure 6 inches on one side and 6 inches on the other. Honestly, this is the easiest bow I've ever made. I honestly think it's even easier than my Olivia bows, and so many of you all love my Olivia bow. I'll link that bow video down below. It's a Christmas video, but it will work for fall. So, and that's for if you guys don't have the bow maker. Now I'm also adding in this beautiful pumpkin ribbon. I did find this on Amazon, but Dollar Tree has been killing it this year with their ribbon choices. I did want to make this just a little bit extra special with this ribbon, so I popped that one in next. Again, 6 inches across on either side, and then take your scissors and cut upward to give it that boutique finish. Now this pretty pumpkin ribbon came from Michael's. Again, it's kind of that pretty specialty ribbon. I wanted to mix in this ribbon because it's going to match the Dollar Tree plaid ribbon back behind there, and you're just going to twist it to make sure your ribbon pieces are standing out really nice and pretty. And there's also a little an end piece on the bow maker that you can put your spool of ribbon on. I always get so excited when I'm making my bows, I forget to put my spool of ribbon on there. I know some of you guys even comment and tell me to use it, and I just honestly totally forget. Now I did splurge when the Mackenzie Childs barn sale happened, and I bought some of their gorgeous ribbon, and let me tell you, this ribbon is so beautiful and well made. It was definitely worth that extra splurge. So this one I'm just going 5 inches across on either side, and I chose it to do as the third piece of ribbon because I really want it to show off. And you guys know I've been crushing on Mackenzie Childs checks, and this is just so pretty. And if you guys can see on one side, it's lined with gold. Oh my goodness, this ribbon is so high quality, and it really makes a difference for sure. But you could also use buffalo check if that's what you have on hand. No worries at all. Okay, so now I'm just going to add in my pumpkin ribbon as the last little straw, and this one I made the smallest loop. It's only about 4 inches across on either side. And then once I have that done, I am just going to pop it off and pipe cleaner the whole thing together. Easy peasy. And then the best part is oh my goodness, you guys, my favorite part ever is fluffing the bows. Fluffing up your bow is really where you're going to have the magic happen. So you take your pipe cleaner, wrap it around the back first, and it's okay if you're going to smash it down a little bit here, but you want to get it really tightly on here, but not so tight that you break your pipe cleaner, because I've done that before too. Now see how I'm pulling the loops out on my bow and fluffing them and making them puffy? Don't forget to do that. Don't let your bow just sit there limp without any fluffing. It really needs some TLC after it's been through all of that. And if you use wired ribbon, that's going to make it stand up even better. Now I'm just going to take that pipe cleaner that was on the back of the bow, and I'm going to attach it to the top of my pumpkin, just the very top loop. And again, more fluffing. You guys know I am going to fluff until they're so puffy and they look really boutique, high-end, on a budget, of course. The next thing I want to do is add some of those Dollar Tree leaves. So they have those burlap leaves, and I'm just going to pop those in. I didn't even add hot glue because they just set really easily down into the deco mesh. So I added orange leaves, one on either side, and then I'm adding the brown leaves, one on either side. And again, all the leaves are from Dollar Tree. And then you guys know me, I was poking around, and I also decided to add in some pretty raffia just to give it that fall vibe. Dollar Tree carries raffia, so fun. And then of course I had to add some glam little leaves to either side, and here is the finished product. And oh my goodness, you guys, I am so over the moon and in love with how this turned out. I think it looks so high-end. I've seen these similar to these selling on Etsy for $100 or more, and we created this on such a small budget, and you guys definitely just use whatever you have on hand. It's kind of even how I dreamt up the idea. You guys know me, I really like to repurpose and reuse, and I'm trying to challenge myself to use everything I have in my craft stash, which I have a lot right now. So we're gonna have a lot of fun decorating for fall. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this cute little bridal gift sign and some of that Mackenzie Childs Hobby Lobby paper, and I'm going to cover it with the paper. I'm just going to trace my marker and trace out the size of the sign, and it didn't exactly fit all the way down, but that's okay because I'm going to decoupage some pretty pumpkins to the front of it as well. So I'm just taking some Mod Podge and adding a good little layer of Mod Podge here, and then I'm going to take my paper and add my paper down. So this is so fun because I wanted to make a cute little welcome sign, and here I had to cut a piece to make it a little bit longer, and I'm Mod Podging again, and I did actually get a little bit too much glue, which happens especially with me. I like to get a little bit generous with my glue, and then once I have that down, then I can take and add another layer to the front, and that'll get it on there nice and good. And you guys can even file off the edges if you want once it's all the way dry, so you just take a nail file and make it smooth. Now I'm taking this welcome galvanized lettering sign, and I'm going to add that to the front. I ended up taking it off and painting it gold just to kind of mix in with some of my gold touches that I have going on in my fall decor. And originally I thought I was going to use this Dollar Tree truck, so I did go ahead and cut that out. I tried it on one end and I thought it would have looked cute, but when I was looking at it, I wasn't for sure that that's the look that I wanted, and so I decided to go with the little pumpkins. And so I just used a dab of hot glue, and I had cut these pumpkins out of the Dollar Tree pumpkin little red truck ribbon, and then I'm just hot gluing those very carefully kind of underneath the lettering. It's going to give it kind of an accent piece, and this is definitely something that you would see at more of like a high-end decor store for only a couple of dollars. I think it came out so adorable, and it's going to mix in perfectly with some of my black and white checks and that darling little banner and a pumpkin we just made. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to create a pumpkin painting using a piece of poster board from Dollar Tree and one of these felt mats. I'm just taking that Dollar Tree marker, and I'm going to mark out and trace out the pretty pumpkin. And oh my goodness, this is such a beautiful silhouette. Now I'm also taking this Dollar Tree wooden piece, and I'm adding pumpkins to either side. And if you don't have the wooden piece and you're comfortable with freehanding that, that would be a super easy option as well. Now I'm going to begin to paint my pumpkin, and I have been really practicing on some acrylic painting skills. I took that acrylic painting 101 by Emily Henderson, and so I'm just really trying to get in there and give myself grace. So I'm adding layers of white paint and orange paint and this kind of brown paint, and these are just colors that I kind of mixed myself or some that I had left over. So you can go to Walmart and pick out some really beautiful fall harvest pumpkin colors, but I love the oranges and the browns, and then I always add in a white for my highlight color. So just have fun with it. You can tell that it's not perfect, and I also like to add layer after layer. I feel like that gives it a lot more dimension and depth, and if it gets too brown, you could add in more orange. As you guys can see right here in this clip, I had gotten a little bit too brown with it, so I moved on to the stem and gave myself a break from painting the pumpkin part. Sometimes that helps too. If you get frustrated or feel like it's not working, give yourself a break and move on to a different part of it. The other thing is I'm painting in this pretty green leaf and then adding that white accent piece to the outside of it. And here it is. I added another little leaf, and I think it's actually looking really adorable. Don't forget to add in those touches of white. They may look kind of funny when you're first doing it, but it's going to give it that really pretty accent that you're going to want. Now here is this orange color color. Again, I mixed this with some different acrylic paints to create this color. It's a bit odd, but I think it works, and it's going to kind of highlight either side of the pumpkin. So take a deep breath, have fun, and get your paint on. For the final step, I decided to use this Waverly Antique wax, and you find it at Walmart, and it's a wax that you're supposed to rub over your furniture pieces, and I decided to rub some of the wax on the outside to give it a frame. I thought that might make it look kind of rustic, and I ended up using about 2 coats of the wax. It does need to dry overnight, and here it is. I popped it into this fireplace mantle setting, and I am really loving this. I think it is so beautiful. So I used some of the Dollar Tree leaves, and then I put some of the velvet pumpkins on top of that, and then candlesticks on either side. I have a lot of you all ask me about the candlesticks, and honestly I found them at the thrift store, but they are really beautiful. So comment and let me know what you think about my painting. I can see so many flaws in it, and I need to go back in with some more orange. I just noticed that. But give yourself grace, have fun, because painting is muchly a journey. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take a Dollar Tree placemat, and I think I got this in the summer section, and then 2 packets of the Dollar Tree fall leaves, and that's going to cover my entire placemat. And I'm just hot gluing the leaves in a pattern. So I start out with the gold, and then the oranges, and then the yellows and the greens. I'm starting out also on the outside of my placemat, but if you don't have a placemat, you could also use one of the Dollar Tree chargers or plates. Really, the sky is the limit, but I want to create a beautiful kind of a fall sprawl, I guess, to put pretty like little dishes on top of, or a basket or whatnot. So just continue to go with your leaf pattern, alternating it. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect towards the end. I didn't have quite as many of the bolder colored leaves. I think some of them have more in the pack, so you might want to check. I believe there were 50 to a pack for the ones that I used, but they do have multiple ones available. And just continue to layer those leaves. And oh my goodness, I feel like this is just such a burst of fall goodness and happiness. Have fun with it. Use that hot glue gun and go for it. And here is how it's going to look once you're done. It's just a burst of fall goodness. And then I decided to take this scrolly gold bowl. Again, I found this at the thrift store, one of my favorite places to shop besides Dollar Tree. I added in some of these cute little Dollar Tree pumpkins, and then that's that pumpkin patch side that I shared with you guys at DIY on Dollar Tree items as well. And just this, I think it looks so beautiful. I chose the gold because it was a little bit more neutral to set on top of this, and the way I would use it in a place setting would be to use one of the wooden chargers and then some pretty fall dishes. And oh my goodness, I've seen these kind of placemats at Pier 1 Imports for $25 at least, and really we did this for about $3. And this is a really nice thing to add to the centerpiece of a table or a little side table or whatnot. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to take this beautiful Dollar Tree calendar, and I am going to choose the October setting. Now this is one of the Psalms calendars. I'm going to use this copper, I believe it's an 8x10 picture frame, and I'm going to remove the backing. I want to get this 8x10 picture picture part that originally came in the frame and use that to trace it out. So I traced right above where the lettering is. I'm going to use the lettering part, the psalm, but I'm going to use it underneath the picture, and I wanted to include the whole setting so it actually fit perfectly into this 8x10 picture frame. So once you have it cut out, you can just cut out the entire calendar and then trim out your saying. And the saying, of course, is optional, but it is a psalm. It's one of my favorite psalms from the Bible. So just go ahead and trim that out, and then you'll have that bottom piece, and then you'll have the top piece. And what I did was I just placed that bottom piece right into there. You also might want to tape it on the inside if you don't want it to move around, but I popped it back into the frame, and voila, I have this beautiful custom kind of high-end looking pretty picture for only about $2, you guys, and it just brought joy to my day and a smile to my face. So here is everything that we did in this video, and this is actually episode 16 or 17, I believe, in our DIY series, you guys. We have been doing so many I Love Fall videos, so definitely go and check out the rest of the I Love Fall videos. I'm going to link them in the description box for you guys, but I also want you guys to comment and let me know what was your favorite DIY in this video. I always love to hear your feedback because it lets me know what you guys want to try or what you would like to see more of. Let me know how I did on my painting. Again, I'm super critical of it, but I think it's fun, and I think with the little added pumpkins at the bottom, it's going to be a really pretty piece. So I'm either going to use this for my studio or my entryway table. All of the hangers and like this little thankful and blessed pumpkin had a leaf. You just want to remove all of that from the top of your pumpkin. The second step is painting your pumpkins with a base color paint. For me, I chose the Waverly white chalk paint, and I gave each one of my pumpkins a nice thick coat of chalk paint. For my third pumpkin, I decided to make it kind of an aqua color, so I'm using this Rust-Oleum spray paint. However, do not get the gloss spray paint like I did. It was very sticky, and I had to add a layer of Mod Podge to the outside of it. After my chalk painted base coats had dried, I went in with the top coat or the detailed coat of my pumpkin topiary. I chose orange with a little bit of mix of kind of some burnt yellows. So to give your painting a bit of a high-end look, you want to just add layers and layers. When you take a look at a pumpkin, it's usually not flat. It will have layers and highlights. So the best way to do that is just add different pretty burnt colors of oranges and browns and whites. And I also did paint the back of my signs white. That way, in case they're leaning up against a mirror, they'll look beautiful from both sides. Of course, that step is totally optional and something that you can skip if you're not going to have yours leaning up against a mirror. Now here is the fun part for me, going back in with a highlight. So I'm just using a flat white. I like to take and mix my colors on my brush together a little bit. So to really give it that blended look, for me, I actually don't wash my brush. I kind of just skip in between colors. So you can see I'll get some white on there and then a little bit of orange, and then I'll just keep mixing and mixing and mixing again to give it that really pretty just kind of hand painted look. That is just a little tip from me to you, and I hope you enjoy watching me paint this. Again, you guys really cannot mess this up because a pumpkin is never going to be perfect, and it's just going to have some pretty lines. You're just going to kind of move in a circular kind of curved motion as you paint those pretty highlight spots. Now the next step for me was to take one of the Dollar Tree little round sponge brushes and to get some dabs of white paint on my sponge brush and sponge brush some polka dots onto my pretty pumpkin. I have seen these adorable pumpkin topiaries and hand painted kind of pumpkin signs all over Pinterest, and I think they are so adorable. However, they're about $50 to $70 for these beautiful hand painted ones. So after looking at several of them, I just got the inspiration to kind of make one of my own, and I love the whimsy of the polka dots. In fact, I had so much fun creating this. I decided that I'm going to make several more in kind of different styles, maybe one for Halloween and whatnot. But these Dollar Tree signs you can transform so easily into something really high end with just a bit of paint and creativity. And I really recommend it that you guys can not spend very much. So go to Walmart, pick out some pretty little apple barrel craft paints and go to town. So I just use my sponge brush and I sponge brush the little polka dots on and just kind of layer them here and there. And if you mess up, you guys can just take the sponge brush and kind of move it in a circular direction, and that will clean up your little circle lines. Once I was finished painting my circles, I went in with a darker brown paint and I just accented the pumpkin stems. Originally, I wasn't going to have the stems shown, but I decided it would look cuter and more pumpkin-y, if that is a word, to go ahead and go in with some darker brown paint, and you can accent those brown stems also with some white paint. Now, for the next part of this DIY, I'm going to use some of this Waverly Antique Wax, and I'm going to do a wax overlay on the top of my aqua pumpkin that had the words. And this was actually just a happy little accident. I did not plan on using this side of the sign, but I was testing out how the chalk wax would look over it, and it worked perfectly. So I just added a layer on and then brushed it off. And then I'm taking this permanent marker and I'm showing you guys where the lines of your pumpkin would be if you're going to add accent lines. So wherever those little bumps are, you can just add some pretty little accent lines to kind of give your pumpkin some dimension. And so I just went in with some brown and white paint and just added those really pretty little highlights. You're going to also want to change to a smaller brush to do your detail work. For the last smaller pumpkin, I decided to do green and orange stripes on this one. So I'm just using some of this pretty green paint. Again, these are a packet of watercolors I got from Arteza Paints, but I suggest that you honestly use acrylic paints. I'm just using what I have on hand. So I'm drawing the little green stripes in, and then I'm going to go back in and highlight this pumpkin with some orange stripes. That way I'm pulling in some of the green green that's going to be the base of the pumpkin, and then some of my pretty orange. Again, I'm so inspired to do more of these in all different kinds of colors, but take a deep breath and just have some fun. It does not have to be perfect. Again, really the more imperfections and highlights and layers of paint is what's going to give you that really boutique high-end finish. The other little detail I have to share with you is I used some of the furniture polish markers from Dollar Tree. I shared these with you guys in one of my hauls, and they worked perfectly to go back over those Dollar Tree glittered letters. So this sign is one of the Dollar Tree signs with the glittered letters, and if you guys have done any crafts from Dollar Tree, you know those glittered letters can be a bit of a pain. And again, this is a happy little accident. I decided to keep the lettering and just overlay it with the furniture polish marker, and then I ended up even going back in with a little bit more fine detail with my paintbrush. But I'm always nervous to try to paint letters. However, those furniture markers worked really, really well. The final step to creating your pumpkin topiary is to hot glue your pumpkins together. You can tell I overlaid the pumpkins on each other so you could see the adorable stems. For the next DIY, I want to create a beautiful fall bow. So I'm going to start out with this easy bow maker, and I put one of the pipe cleaners in it. And then I'm going to take this Dollar Tree ribbon and I'm going to measure about 4 to 5 inches across on either side of my bow maker and create one loop. And I found my easy bow maker on Amazon, but I found out later it's much cheaper on Deco Exchange. So you can probably just Google it and find where the cheapest one is. And I'm also going to dovetail my ends with my scissors. You're just going to cut a little triangle in. Now this ribbon is actually from Amazon. I love this. I'll put some in my store for you guys. I'll link my Amazon store down below if you want to check it out. But it's pumpkins and a buffalo check and just so fabulous. And again, I'm adding 5-inch loops on either side, and then I'm just going to dovetail those ends. Now if you don't have an easy bow maker, that is totally fine. I have a huge bow making video that I will link for you all down below. It's actually from Christmas, but all you have to do is change out your ribbons to make yourself a fall bow. For the next layer, I'm going to use this Dollar Tree. It's kind of like a burlap ribbon. And also just a quick little note, all of these ribbons are wired ribbon. That helps your bow be really nice and fluffy and boutique fabulous. And now I did make a little bit of a smaller loop, about 4 inches on either side for this next loop. I'm gradually kind of getting a little bit smaller with my loops. And then to finish it out, I really wanted that pretty pumpkin ribbon to sparkle and shine. And so I'm just going to use this again, and don't forget to twist it if it does have a pretty layer that needs to show on the outside. And voila, you have a fabulous bow. And if you have problems with your hands, these bow makers are really great. I'm sure you guys know by now that I do have neuropathy in my hands and feet, and so sometimes it's a little bit much to try to wrangle with a bow. So this easy bow maker is such a great little cheat, and I get no money for saying this. I'm just giving you guys a little tip from me to you. Now, the other part to my bow is to really give it a good fluffing. That will really help make your bow fabulous. Here is the bow topped on top of our pumpkin topiary. I did add a little bit of Dollar Tree raffia to the top part of the bow and underneath. I just took my pipe cleaner and wrapped it around the top of my pumpkin topiary, and that held my bow on, and then I did hot glue the raffia onto either side. So I am absolutely over the moon and love with how this turned out, and just think how many ways you all could customize this. I'm even seeing making one of these for my outdoor. Now I do have a covered porch, so it probably wouldn't last outside. They do have something called Never Wet that you guys can use to spray your items with if you want to put something outside. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take this Martha Stewart Rose Gold spray paint. It's on clearance right now at Michael's for 60% off. And I'm going to take 2 of these Dollar Tree plastic buckets and just give them 2 layers of spray paint. You also can use any spray paint to customize this look, but this is going to be kind of a dupe on the Pottery Barn copper buckets that I'm seeing. Kirkland's is also putting out a copper bucket. I saw my friend Sarah Jade at Chic on the Cheap. She did a really great dupe on the little Kirkland's bucket. For mine, I decided just to go with the copper look, and then I wanted to accent the handles with some of that Dollar Tree jute twine. Now this is the jute twine that's on the wire, so you're just gonna wire it on to the side of your basket, and this part is a little bit tedious, I admit, because you have to wrap it around each handle. It's almost like I regretted it the minute I started it, but then I couldn't resist giving it that kind of fall feel. I think these buckets are amazing to pop pumpkins into, and blankets and little pillows. So fun and fabulous. And you could use your Cricut or some lettering and put Farm Fresh pumpkins across the front. Again, I chose just to leave mine plain because I did have other items in the display that were going to have a lot of wording and lettering. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I want to create some super adorable high-end scarf pumpkins. So I'm taking one of those Dollar Tree velvet pumpkins, and I cut the stem off, and then I'm just going to take these scissors and poke the little scarf into it. So I found the scarf at Dollar Tree as well, but just think, you all could use a scarf that you pick up from the thrift store, or maybe you have a scarf or an old flannel in your closet from last season that you're not going to wear this year, or maybe it's seen better days. This is such a fun way to upcycle and create some fun and fabulous decor. You could also use this pumpkin idea on the Dollar Tree carvable pumpkins. The next step to making my pumpkin look a little bit more high-end was to take some of my fun and fabulous rose gold sparkling spray paint and spray paint the tops of my stems with that Martha Stewart spray paint. Again, it's 60% off at Michael's right now. And then I cut the rest of the stem off because it's easier to hot glue it back into your pumpkin, and then just added some hot glue to the top of my pumpkin to pop it back in. I also created one of these with some buffalo check plaid fabric that I found at Hobby Lobby. Really, so much. The sky is the limit with these little cuties. You guys could really customize this to suit your decor. And here it is popped into this little fall display that I have in my studio. I know you guys are going to ask me too about the cute little pumpkin pillows. I found those on Amazon, and I do have them again linked in my Amazon store. The link is going to be in the description box of the YouTube video for you guys. So fun and fabulous, and look at how cute these little pumpkins look popped in to the copper bucket. Just so ready for fall. For the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take these cute little pumpkin crates and some of that Martha Stewart spray paint. Again, I'm just so crushing on this, and I'm going to paint them with the paint, and then once they had dried, I'm just going to take some of these Dollar Tree picks. I love the one with the little pumpkin and the berries, and then this little lamb's ear is from Walmart. It's about $2 for a bundle, I believe. So I'm adding some lamb's ear into the center, and then just some picks next to either side of the little crate. I see these high-end displays at Kirkland's for so much money, and we can create this on such a tiny budget, and it's really going to give your fall something a little bit to speak of with some high-end decor that we did on next to nothing. And how do you guys love this copper? Oh my goodness, it's really probably one of my favorite accent colors for fall, especially this season. You're going to really see it everywhere. And I also love these little tiny pumpkin picks, and then this Bath and Body Works caramel pumpkin swirl smells so delicious and is giving me all the fall feels. So for the next Dollar Tree DIY, I'm going to take these cute little pumpkins, and again, I'm going in with that Martha Stewart rose gold spray paint. It even had like a glitter effect. I gave my little pumpkins 2 coats of spray paint, and I spray painted the entire pumpkin, and then I'm using one of those little spray painted Dollar Tree crates. I added some fall leaves to the bottom, and then just some of those little Dollar Tree straw bales, which fit perfectly into the little crates. Just a little note there. And then I'm going to take this cute little mini pumpkin. You're going to probably see that again, hopefully this year at the Target dollar spot. And then I'm just using those little rose gold pumpkins to kind of layer in and around my pumpkin topiary, and this is mixing in with those copper buckets. It's such a nice accent piece, and you guys could also glitter the tops of those rose gold pumpkins if you like. So here is how it looks, the entire display coming together. And as always, I ask that you all comment and let me know what is your favorite DIY in this video, and which one will you be attempting to recreate. I think this pumpkin topiary is by far one of the most fun DIYs I've done so far this season, and I've done a lot. You guys are going to have to go back and check out the rest of my I Love Fall series playlist. I'm going to link it for you in the description box of this video so you can get totally inspired. I think we've already done 30 DIYs. The majority of them are from Dollar Tree, so I'd love to share with you guys how to make everything budget friendly and gorgeous as well. You don't have to spend a lot to have some fun and fabulous decor. And here are those cute little fall pillows. I use that Dollar Tree scarf and just some pumpkins to really create this cozy fall vibe. And you can add in some flameless flickering candles. Just a little note, I did show that candle over here at the base of this display in one of those clips, but I don't keep candles close to my floor. It was just mainly for this video, so just a little note for you guys on that. I use flameless flickering candles though, and that is a flameless fireplace. I just have the lights turned on. I just wanted to give you guys a note on that, just to so you know that I'm always really careful. And the flameless flickering candles, I will tell you, are also in my Amazon store. So fun and fabulous. Oh my goodness, all of these cozy vibes get me just so ready for fall, and I really am hoping to inspire you guys and get you ready for your fall decorating. It takes me really several months to completely decorate from fall head to toe because I'm going to do my whole house. So definitely stay tuned and don't forget to comment and subscribe. For the first Dollar Tree DIY, we're going to create these beautiful glam pumpkins using ceramic pumpkins from the Dollar Tree and these beautiful glam jewels. You're going to find these in the crafters square. They already have adhesive on the back, so all you have to do is run the adhesive jewel down the side of the pumpkin, trim it off, and voila, you have this beautiful, I feel like these are Cinderella pumpkins. They're just so glamorous and gorgeous. Now, I think you guys can use these on any colors or styles that suit your personal decor, and I skipped every other one and just ran them down the little grooves that were in the pumpkin. I'm also going in with my Deco paint pen kind of marker. I got this at Michael's, but they also carry the gold paint pens at Dollar Tree, and I decided to dazzle up the stem just a little bit with some gold accents. I just thought that that kicked it up a notch, and I'm also running out of this paint pen, so I'm gonna need to make a trip to Michael's very soon. But I'm just adding that gold stem, and then I'm running the little jewels down the sides of the pumpkins. Now, as I went along, I realized that I wanted to add jewels down every single groove. So the one on the right, the little kind of maroon pink pumpkin, is going to be one way that you guys could do it, but you can kick it up a notch and just add jewels down the entire thing, depending upon how many you have. And it did take, I believe, 2 to 3 strips per pumpkin. Now, again, you can skip the grooves, or you guys can just totally go all out and use jewels on every little groove. Now here's how my pumpkins look after I dazzled them up with all these beautiful jewels. Now I'm going in to make them just a little bit extra with this pretty little brooch. I get all of my brooch jewels off totallydazzled.com. I will leave a link for them down below. They're super inexpensive on their jewels. You could also make these with some memory jewelry from a loved one, or maybe you have a broken earring that was just too pretty to throw away in your crafting stash. The sky is the limit on these. Oh my goodness. Now tell me these don't remind you of a Cinderella, dazzled up, going to the ball. Just so fun and fabulous and glam. I feel like every decor can really use just a cute little touch of glam, maybe in your beauty space. Or so thank you all so much for joining me on another fun and fabulous crafting and decorating adventure. It's truly a blessing and honor to have you all here. If you all are new to my channel, hi, I'm Olivia with Olivias Romantic Home. I love to share with you guys how you can make your homes boutique gorgeous on a budget. I am in the same little home that I have been in the last 20 years. I've raised my kiddos in this home. You might notice that I've painted the walls, and even my hair color might have changed. But over the last 10 years, we all have a little bit of changes here and there. So I always like to drop a secret question in my video, and the secret question for you guys is, what is the biggest change that has happened that's positive in your life over the last 10 years? Let's light up this comment section with positivity. I love to remind you guys in every single video that this is a social media platform, and social media is exactly what that is. It's a place for us to be social and encourage and uplift one another, because I think life is hard enough without there being, you know, negativity. So let's put some positivity out there. I also love to hear recipes from you guys and your favorite Bible scripture. So listen, drop those in the comment section below. You guys might hear my little puppy dog Benji Bear out there giving me a little bark. He's ready to come in and play with Mom. But listen, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you also for welcoming some of my co-host designers that have been a part of my show. Jake Rogers from Bratton House Antiques in Branson, Missouri, and Caleb from Nashville, Designer to the Stars. Listen, go back and check out some of those videos. These gentlemen are incredibly talented, and you will also see me hosting more fun guest designers on my channel. I want to spotlight people that are small businesses that could need that boost that I come across in my just normal daily life when I'm out and about on trips or just whatever. So thank you guys for all of your kind comments and for welcoming people on my channel with grace. It's always been me, just a little one-woman show, me, you guys, in this iPhone camera I have, and my glue gun. So inviting other people into my space is fun, because right now I'm starting to become an empty nester, and it gets a little lonely just me in my studio all the time. But I hope you guys are enjoying it and you're learning new things, which I think the secret to staying young is learning and growing and encouraging and uplifting one another. So anyway, thank you guys so much for that. And thank you for the kind compliments on my blonde hair. My mom actually has gone white blonde as she's aged, and she's beautiful. She has the most beautiful hair. And so part of why I'm blonde, just to highlight my face, but also because I have like a lot of gray. So a lot of it, you guys, it's gray and blonde. So anyway, let me know what you guys have done in the last 10 years that's different. Maybe, you know, you've taken a fun vacation, you've changed your hair color, just all of the positive things that have happened in your life. So thank you guys. As always, I'm gonna hug all of your hearts so tight, give you a big old hug. And a lot of you also ask about the prayer cards that I share on my Instagram and Facebook story. Those are from Dollar Tree. I know in different stores they're put in different places. The easiest way to find them is ask your checkout clerk. But they're pretty little prayer cards. They have scripture on each side, and it's the way that I start my day, with a good morning prayer and word with God, because it just helps me set my day and let me know that I'm taking my life in and putting it into the hands of God. And so I can release, you know, hopefully as much stress and negativity as possible. So anyway, thank you guys. I can't wait for our next video. And until then, remember, be kind to yourselves, be kind to one another. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Bye-bye.
That I love you.